Okay. I guess it's doing it.
I don't love this tech stuff.
Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. Okay. Shall I start again?
Hey,
Okay. So this demonstration that I'm going to show you the results of and how to do it, I have found very useful, especially when I travel or I'm out of the studio and I want to record whatever scene I'm seeing or whatever I feel like doing. I know that I can get the sketch down and then I can do it outdoors if need be or indoors, even piecemeal. So it turns out the materials are not really hard to carry. They're not really messy, and the result is usually um, always creative and fun. And no one ever realizes or understands how I do it. But I will try to share with you um, what I'm talking about now, so you can actually see it. See if I share screen. Share screen. Okay. Share. Okay. Can everybody see this page? Oh, I should unmute you. I can't hear you. Um, I'm going to unmute you and admit somebody else in.
Yes, we can see. We could see your laptop.
we can see your screen now.
Okay. I have the feeling I should unmute you because
I don't want
then I can't hear the response.
to be just her.
We can unmute ourselves, Nan.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Good. I have some of you, but I'll mute you, and when you want to speak, just unmute yourself. Oh no, mute. Let's see if I get that. Pam, mute. Mute. Okay. Oh, another admit. Okay. Okay. Now
Can I
I
make one more suggestion
Yes.
to everybody? Go up to the top right-hand corner of your screen and make sure that you're not in speaker view, but you're in gallery view, because what's going to happen is anytime somebody moves or says something, the picture on the screen should probably shift to them.
Okay.
You know, that you don't have to, man, you don't have to do that, but everybody else should be in gallery view, not speaker view.
Okay. I'm going to share the screen. Okay. So
Perfect.
I take it people can see this. So I think what I will do first is I'll just show you, I'm going to show you all these slides that I took pictures of, but I'm going to show you some finished works first to show you what the end result looks like. So if I, okay. So these are, this one at least, is one of the scenes of just looking inside a courtyard in a restaurant in Oaxaca, Mexico. And so I was able to basically, I carry my paper, my fine charcoal, and a knead eraser, and also spray fixative. But realistically, I've had spray fixative confiscated from my suitcase 4 times. So I now just bring the aerosol hairspray, which works just fine. So anyway, I sketch it out. That's what I do on location. So I know that I get the composition that I want. It has nothing to do with the colors, the patterns, the detail that come later. But this is what it looks like. This was the courtyard in Oaxaca of Las Mariposas, which was the hotel that I stayed at. And it had a stone wall with butterflies on it and little tables around, and it was just lovely. So the end, using all these materials fills all the spaces of the actual two-dimensional work. This was another courtyard, same different hotel. I was into courtyards at the time, and of course the birds are made up, and a lot of it is made up. But the actual physical space I draw from reality. I seem to be going wrong. Okay, this was another one looking over a hillside. It was in France when I was teaching in France, and just the little charcoal marks and of the houses in the valley and the hillside and the sky and so on was really quite a simple sketch. Then sprayed, then I take it home or to wherever I am, and once I have a question. Okay. If you have a question, by all means, unmute yourself and ask. So once I have the sketch down, I actually trace my sketch because in the future I will make an oil painting from it. But then once I've traced it, I go back and I do the edges with Caran d'Ache crayon, which I'm going to show you. I fill in the spaces with oil pastel, and then I finish with watercolor, which seeps into all the little nooks and crannies and spaces and really unifies the whole work. This here was it was actually the kitchen of a chateau in France, believe it or not, very homey. There was no rooster on the bottom right. And I sketched the table and the hanging dishes and the cabinet and so on, which I later then went on to do. So those are just some finished ones. So the overall look of it is one of, I'll put this on again, is one of color, texture, content, and sometimes a lot of patterning, but that happens to be the way I work. Okay. So going from the very beginning, and everybody can see this, right? Yes. Okay, going from the very beginning, I'm going to I'll start on these slides. Okay, actually this is going a little bit backwards. The last process is the watercolor. You could take pan watercolors, or in my case, I just squirt each tube of color in each of these little spaces, which are great. I get these containers at the Container Store. And then it's very easy to carry, and some palette paper and a few brushes. So that actually is the last. I'm going backwards. These are the Caran d'Ache crayons, and they are a Swiss crayon that is nice and hard and very pigmented. So I use it to go over the charcoal lines that I have sketched originally. So I can have lines in any color that I want. And when the points dull down, I just put in a sharpener right there, and I can sharpen these crayons, which makes them very useful for getting a colored line that is wax-based that will resist the watercolor. Whoops. Okay. Okay, this is a photo of all the supplies for this way of working, the three mediums. It even has extra materials, but I start on the bottom right with a graphite pencil or vine charcoal and a kneaded eraser. That is basically all I need to sketch. If you need rulers or other things, by all means, bring them with you. once I have the sketch, I go on to use, I should ask, if anybody can unmute themselves. Can you see my cursor? Can anybody answer?
Yes, it's in
Okay.
the upper left hand.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
it's right on the crayons now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So once I have the line, I go over it with any color I want of the Caran d'Ache crayons. Then the next step is I basically, if the work is small-ish, let's say under 12 by 14 or under 16 by 20, I will use mostly oil pastels. And in this box, I don't use one brand, although Sennelier, the French brand, is the softest, is probably the richest in oil pastel. But almost anyone of any kind of oil pastel will work. If the work is larger, and I tend to outdoors, I tend to work in squares, and excuse me, I usually do 16 by 16 inches, 18 by 18, 20 by 20, 24 by 24. And so if they're bigger spaces, I use the same idea of the oil pastels, only these are called oil sticks. And there are many names for them. There are most of these are Sennelier oil sticks, and then they have Sennelier pigment sticks, and then they have Winsor and Newton oil bars, and they have Shiva oil sticks. So they're all basically oil paint, and there's R&F, which is the mushiest of all. They're really a very rich pastel, oil pastel, made from oil, pigment, and resin. And each brand is there's a different amount of beeswax in it, which makes them softer or not softer. But anyway, so that's the oil part of the demonstration. And then once the Caran d'Ache crayons are laid down and the oil pastels and oil sticks are laid down, then comes a layer of the watercolor. And the watercolor, and it's not like I pre-think what colors go over what color. It's instinctual. If I want a very contrasted, I might go over a light color with a darker watercolor, or vice versa. But I'm jumping ahead. Okay, so this is going to show you the order in which I tend to do things. So this was a very cute, funky kind of apartment in Boston, and the people that asked me or commissioned me to do this basically wanted an oil painting, which it has become an oil painting. But the first part, I just went there, and this was 30 by 30 inches, so actually this was large. And I sketched it in charcoal, and the reason that I like the charcoal is because when you put one object in front of another, you take the eraser and you erase what's in back of it so that I don't get confused with too many lines. So this turned out to be the sketch of what actually looked like that apartment. Then I started adding just Caran d'Ache lines, whatever color I felt like. Green lamp, yellow chest of drawers, whatever I felt like. And then once I had the lines done with Caran d'Ache crayons, wax colors, I started to fill in with the oil pastels. And if you notice the way that I've done it, I've left lots of white holes in it. So it's almost like a scribble, filling in a certain area with a color and going on to another area, and scribbling a color, and then the chairs. And generally speaking, I try to never use them solidly, or the watercolor won't take any effect. Oh, here's a finished one. This was from last year. This is an example of, I did a whole series of Mexican pre-Columbian figures. I went back to Oaxaca, Mexico, and the first day that I was back there, by the way, I started to draw the courtyard of the hotel I was staying at. And then I realized, wait a minute, but I did this. It was like, why do it again? So I took myself to the Rufino Tamayo Museum, which he was a wonderful Mexican artist, and he was a collector of pre-Columbian art. And I believe that his own personal collection is the best of the pre-Columbian sculptures, and it didn't leave Mexico; it stayed right there. And these little figures are as close as I could come. They're figures that were about 3-inch high pre-Columbian terracotta figures. They were humorous, human. They were just, they were so adorable. I just fell in love with them. So I started to sketch all the little pre-Columbian figures in the museum. And I then went on to do these mixed media pieces back at the hotel, where some, like this one, I put two figures together instead of one separate. And I named them Mayan names. I looked up Mayan names, what they meant, and I titled everything. And the backgrounds are totally made up. They're sort of Mexican-like. And I did them in this method of doing one layer of a colored line, filling in with oil pastels, and then doing watercolor over it. And you can see, like, there'd be a deep purple watercolor over a muted purple shield here. And so they sort of are related to each other. Other areas, like the background, that is the white of the paper. But instead of using a colored oil stick or oil pastel, I used a clear stick. So it kept, wherever I used the clear stick, the white of the paper. And then when I put over a dark blue watercolor, it just seeped in and around all the waxy spaces. Here's another one. Quetzal celebrates. Quetzal, they all have these Mayan names. This was, again, another little sculpture that I then made up the background and sort of made him come to life. And that one was this little girl or woman who looked like this, actually. And then I called her Nayeli, whose name means love, and actually that's what Nayeli means. It's whose name means love. And again, you can see very clearly, I think you can, where the watercolor seeps in between and around the watercolor. And in some areas, it even lays on top of it. But for some reason, it does not peel off or fall off. So once they're finished, and they're on paper. So once they are finished, I do frame them. I mat them and frame them. And they just keep lasting. Here's another beginning one. This was sitting on the windowsill of an apartment in Aix-en-Provence that I traded the painting for the apartment when I was teaching. And that is the view out the window. So just using my piece of charcoal, kneaded eraser, and fixative, I then went on. I might have to move this over. Oh, it must be further down here. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry about that. It looks like I'll go back to this one to finish it up. Okay, so you can see how this work sort of just evolves. So right now, in this picture, the pretty much all the pastel is done. And then I put a layer of watercolor, and it seems to, it holds it together, it brings it together, and then the finished result is something that most people can't figure out how it did it. But I have found that I love working on there. I'm working, going back to Aix-en-Provence, and in fact, above my head, there is the oil painting of that. But there, I'm working on the paper in my kitchen, and there I'm starting to fill in spaces from the roof lines outward. Now this one shows the entire page filled with the oil pastel. Again, you can see the white spaces in between. And then the watercolor, which basically tightens the composition and brings the each shape into completion. So that really is, you can do any subject, and that's what it will look like. So I'm just going to show you the picture first once more of, I think, of all the materials, which I have actually right next to me. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing this and go back here. So that is what the artwork actually looks like. And I'm looking for my iPhone. Oh, there's my iPhone. Okay. Okay. So does anybody have any questions before I start?
What paper did you use on those?
Okay, so the paper, it has, oh, there's two people waiting in the waiting room. Wait, let me in. Admit. The paper that I use is, generally speaking, a watercolor paper, about 120-pound weight, and but you could also use Bristol board, and any paper that can take the heavy use of crayon, oil pastel, and watercolor and be somewhat absorbent. And all those seem to work.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll try to make my iPhone bigger. See if I can do that. If you pin the iPhone, Nan Hass Feldman's iPhone, it's the shape of a cell phone. So it let me see if I move over here. So it's a square, which is actually about 18 by 18 inches, just so you know. So the first material, so it's maybe before I show you this, I'll just show you like some of the sketches. So this is so strange because the iPhone is, I can't make it bigger. Wait a minute, maybe I can make it bigger. If you can, make it bigger. Anyway, so I
Dan, can you try turning your phone sideways? Will it reorient itself?
Yeah. Landscape.
I guess not. No, with an iPhone, usually it will. If you turn it on its side, it'll just shift to a landscape view, and it may make it look bigger. But
wait,
maybe not.
Let me put it back over this way. I'm afraid it's gonna fall off of this thing. I wonder if I need. I guess I could turn the paper. Oh, that's really not that great. Okay. Anyway, this is basically just a charcoal sketch. This one is Provincetown. So I could, on location, I could make many of these sketches to be worked on much later on, anytime later on, right there or later on as well. And as you can see, the way that I work, I don't use any rulers or anything. I just sketch with a piece of charcoal and kneaded eraser and then spray it. So obviously I can work on these anytime. And this is that original. Actually, this is the one that I showed you that was finished of the view from Aix-en-Provence. This is the same, that little chair. This is the same view, only stepping back further. The same exact sketch. And again, charcoal is very forgiving. So somebody else is waiting to get admitted. Wait. It's very forgiving. So anytime you want to get a composition for yourself, I suggest carrying either a piece of graphite pencil, or a vine charcoal and a kneaded eraser and a little can of hairspray, which you can use fixative, but if you're flying, you do not want to take it with you. Okay, so these are just some. I have loads of these. From all, because I've taught so many places, I never have time to finish the work pretty much where I am. So as long as I have the sketch, and of course you can take a photograph to help you with remembering the space or the colors or patterns or whatever, or you can just make it up as you go along. One thing is that if you don't make things up, this way of working will be a little harder for you, because there is no way to tell ahead of time how the watercolor is going to look over the oil pastel that you're using. It's a matter of trial and error. And because you don't know ahead of time, there's always that element of surprise, which is what's great about fine art. It's that you shouldn't know the result before you start. Otherwise, it's not really fine art. It's a commercial art product. And it's nothing against commercial art, but in fine art, you do not know the result before you do it. Okay. So, any questions so far? Okay. So I started this one.
Nan,
Yes.
it's not a question so much as, do you have an easel that you could put right behind you? Because we can see what's right behind you. Would that make it easier as you're doing the demo? It's just a suggestion, I don't know.
That's a good suggestion, but I don't have an easel here. I'm in my dining room.
Okay.
That's
So
okay.
I'll do my best.
Oh, you're doing great. It's just that where you were concerned about the size, I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, that's true. I could have sworn that the phone would let me go further out than it has. So I guess this is going to be a mini demonstration of it, or a small area. Okay, so I'll start with this is my box of Caran d'Ache crayons. Oh, by the way, just so you know, if you should order these, it's much more common to get water-soluble Caran d'Ache crayons, which I use for journals. I use it all the time in making, when I travel, I use it in travel journals. But you do not want to use it in this particular method, because then when you put the watercolor over it, the line will dissolve. So let's just say we're doing the windows here on the, trying to get it straight. So funny, it's not straight at all. Okay, so these, and let's just say I want to, I'm going to take my watch off. It won't get in the way. Okay. Okay. You're basically created sort of like a coloring book for yourself. So I just go over lines with whatever colors I want. I'm going to get the oil pastels out of the way. Wait a minute. Got these oil pastels in the way. And the harder that you press down, the more it will resist. If you only press very lightly with the oil pastel or the Caran d'Ache crayon, it might not even show up as a resist to the watercolor. So the oil, you want to make sure there's enough oil on the paper so that it will resist any watercolor color that goes over it. Put this over here. Let's do a different color just for fun of it. So right now I'm just going over some of the lines, and you don't have to go over them exactly, but pretty much I mean, it's the kind of thing. The one thing that I do that I really do like it when I'm not at the studio, when I'm at home, and I just want to feel like working, just on something easy. I can just take out any one of these and just start working on it and start and stop at any point. There is no. It's not like some mediums that where you don't want to. Oops, there's somebody in the waiting room. Wait a minute. Two people are coming in. It's not like you like starting an oil painting. I know when I'm going to basically do a painting, I need a good 4 hours minimum because it takes me an hour to clean up, and I usually like to have the whole day if possible once I really get into oil painting. But with these, where it's sort of piecemeal, you can just do the outlines one day and the oil pastels another day and the watercolor a third day, and you don't have to feel like you need these huge chunks of time. Okay, so what I was saying before about if you do order these, They are called Neocolor 1 and Neocolor 2. The Neocolor 1 are permanent wax crayons, wax based. If you get the Neocolor 2, that is water soluble. Okay, so now I'll just do that. Go on, just to show you. Okay, so now, let's say, since this is basically a small area, I won't use the big fat oil sticks. I'll use the skinny oil sticks. And let's just say, okay, let's say I want to make the curtains blue. And I feel like making the interior. I know red is a strange color, but okay. White. How about white? And don't forget, these also come in a clear stick, which leaves the paper or whatever color is down, the color that um, you're going to preserve, or you can use, in this case, just a white pastel. Let's see. Okay. And the oil pastel, by the way, will go over any charcoal or pencil line. What is it? Oh, yeah. Got to look and see if it was in the. Oh, yeah. So you don't have to be worried about the charcoal marks showing through. Let's see. The shutters. Make that sort of ochre color. Again, if you are more of a realist than I am, you might try to make the colors more to what you think they were. But in my case, I just make it up. And I think I'll go back to here. And I think I forgot to outline the house. So the reason I like the outlines is that because oil pastels and watercolor will spread in between, it helps define the particular spaces. Huh. Now, let's see what I can find. Here's I'm just going to outline this a little more. Okay. That here. The chimney. And then just the last little windows. And they're all different blues, but as long as they resist the watercolor. Okay. All right, so that little spot. So let me go get I forgot a water container. Well, maybe before I do that, how's the time doing? Oh, we're doing fine. I'll put some broader areas just to show you. I'll switch to these. And these are nice, fat, big crayons. And there's one here that is, can I see this? It's white iridescence, which I think I must have used already, which I use for these clouds. So that what will come out will be these sort of pearly white clouds. Oops. Can't see that. I think it has sort of a shine on it. And maybe I will use a big fat one to show you a broader area. This is weird to work on such a little space, but all right. Yeah, I'll make it a little. Now this is a broad area on this 18 by 18 or 20 by 20 size paper. So it's a broad area to fill in or semi-fill in. And so in this case, it really, a smaller pastel would also work, but this will just work faster. Now I could do more than one color. Let's see if it shows it. It's almost like a directed scribble. And there's no reason why you can't, let's say, blend color on color. Gonna have to move the gram. And maybe I'll switch to one of the other colors. You almost feel like, just having you feel like a kid, like you're coloring. And again, on purpose, you're not filling all the spaces in.
So Nan, the fields and the buildings that you have in that,
Yeah.
have they already been done with watercolor, or where are they in the
Yes,
process?
a few of them, a few parts have been, because I was demonstrating this to someone else, and normally, I mean, I guess it's good. Normally, I mean, if you like to go area by area, you could do all three methods and finish it and sort of see it evolve. Or what I tend to do is I tend to do all of the lines at first, and then all of the oil pastel, and then all of the watercolor. So each process gets its separate going through. But one doesn't have to do that. I mean, one can, as you said, with the some of the hills and valleys there, um, to show somebody to do it quickly, I just did a little portion of it.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, the other thing that's fun about this is that, you could do this with children or grandchildren. There's no age limit, you know. In fact, there's no age limit on any materials doing it. But this particularly lends itself to doing it with any age. Okay, so now we have, oh, get this around. We have the whole, I don't know if I can get this whole area done. And maybe at this point, I'll fill this in so it gets more filled in.
Nan,
Yes,
just a quick question.
sure.
Is your phone an iPhone?
Yes.
Okay, if you take your iPhone, yeah, Joe, hold on. If you take your okay, here we go. You take your iPhone and you scroll up from the bottom. You said vaguely. Okay.
It's
You'll
on
see
a
the-
stand, so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There's a thing that says screen mirroring, and it should, I think, mirror to your computer, so that your computer screen should show what's on your phone, and that might make it a little easier for you. Now, I don't know if that's going to work. See,
He's holding it up for you to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
there's
Oh.
a right
you know
here.
what? Let me stop sharing so I can.
Yeah.
Wait.
Honey, hold it
Yeah.
up.
If you scroll up from the bottom,
Honey,
and the thing that says
in my room.
screen mirroring,
Wait a minute.
and it will look for your computer, and if it finds it, it will put whatever's on your phone right onto your computer screen. And when you go to full screen, everybody will be able to see that.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me try to get. Oh dear. Gallery view. Why can't I? I'm trying to stop sharing. Oh dear, stop sharing. Okay,
Okay.
wait a minute.
Um,
Wait a minute. I hope I didn't screw this up.
so
Okay,
yeah,
okay, now I can see you. So, tell me again what you said.
okay, here's my desktop, on my phone. So I just scrolled up to the bottom, lifted it up.
Right.
And so this appears.
Stop moving it. Stop.
And
Yes.
there's a, oh, shoot. Sorry. I'm trying to do this backwards and it isn't working well.
I
You
know
can
it.
see, no,
Go there.
see the thing that says right there, screen sharing?
Oh, on your phone, yes.
So if you click that on your phone, if it's linked to your computer, then whatever's on your screen or your phone will show up directly on your computer.
Okay.
And then if you go to speaker view, it should fill the screen.
Okay, I'll try it.
If not, I promise to shut up and not say anything more.
Well, all right, I'm gonna try this. Okay. Okay, I go up on the.
You go from the bottom and sweep up to the top.
It's showing it right here.
That's all.
Oops. Screen, oh dear. Cancel that. Okay. Okay, okay, I got the screen,
Screen sharing. Yeah, now tap that.
I don't, I've got just the.
Oh, okay,
regular-
now, once you get there, oops,
Yeah.
here we go again.
Great.
Okay. Then you just go start at the bottom and sweep up. Works for me about half the time. And it should, all of a sudden you should see this.
Ah,
Okay, now can you see screen mirroring?
Just stay there. Don't
no,
move.
it's,
Stay there. Stay there. Holding it up.
Yeah, sometimes it helps them moisten I have to moisten my finger a lot of times.
what if I close it? Now I open it.
Stop moving. Try to hold it.
Is this what I'm supposed to have?
I know, it's what I'm showing you, what you'll see on mine. Yeah, I'll try to do it so you can see it. Okay, if it looks like this on your iPhone. If you just take your finger and sweep up, it turns white and brings up these things.
Ay, yay. If I sweep up, it's not doing anything.
Okay, well, I don't know. I guess, well, was the thought anyway.
But it should work.
Huh. I wonder why that doesn't.
You
sweep.
might have to scroll. Yours might be an older version. Go side to side. Go from the left to the right. Sweep.
Oh.
Huh.
Is that it?
There you go. Is there a share screen on there?
No, it's not it.
Your share screen on
We
there.
can't see the work.
She knows.
Yeah, the problem is it just occurred to me that since most of you, we're watching it on a 27-inch monitor. But if
Oh,
you're
really?
watching it on an iPhone, for example, the pictures are going to be about the size of a postage stamp.
I know, what a shame. Okay, screen share. I
We
don't.
don't even see the picture, Dennis.
Mhm.
We're not seeing the picture. We're on our iPad and I don't see it at
We
all.
don't see any of the work.
We don't see her work.
Okay, well, I had it on here.
You don't see the work.
No, we
No.
don't see anything
Hmm.
except her.
Okay, now
See, we've been seeing everything.
I don't understand.
Um,
You guys are so
We
patient.
just see your name right now.
Yeah, that's because I undid,
oh,
I undid this.
Oh. Here's what, go back to where you would normally start, just your main screen, like
Okay,
this.
I have my main screen.
Actually, can you go back one? Just what do you see when you first turn your phone on? Like that,
When you first
before you log in.
Oh, before I log in.
Yeah.
put it to sleep.
And then bring
Okay,
it back up again. And now if you sweep up, it should come. It should work really easily. I know. Yeah. And then again, you'll get this kind of a screen. Or you should.
I'm not getting it.
Okay. Well,
Give me my phone.
maybe.
Ah,
It works on mine, honey. Give me my phone.
oh dear.
All her numbers.
That's all right. It's,
I have your microphone is muted. Your video is stopped.
Hmm.
Okay, well, maybe we should go back to what they could see.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to rejoin the meeting.
Right. Before we lose people.
Right.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay, now join.
It's okay, I'm not. Oh, see, screen mirroring, that works on mine. It's
Yeah.
right there.
Right.
It says it's looking for.
Join
Alex.
meeting.
Yeah. Forget about it.
Participants.
No, too close. It's not letting me join. It's not letting me join. Okay, come on. Oh, wait. Join video. Please, what host will let you in?
And you want to be in this one, right? So you're in that. Oh, wait a second. No, that's right. You want to be in this one. And when she starts painting again, what does that say? This is you. Oh, it's me. No, actually, I think it's you. Anyway, I don't see where her artwork is now, but I think she's turned it off for a minute.
No, wait, I'm trying to turn it back on. Okay.
See, she's trying to turn it back on. So hopefully you'll see her artwork in a corner
And then
and just tap on that.
That's what I tried to do.
There
I
you
got-
go.
Oh,
It's
okay.
on now.
Let's see if she'll-
I don't see it.
I had to do something called pin video, and I'll show you that when I see her artwork.
Whoa.
I can see it. Not now.
Come on. This stupid thing.
Yeah, don't see it.
Oh dear. It
Your artwork was present for a second, but then it's disappeared.
Oh dear.
We all want one of those.
Join meeting.
Join meeting.
Come on. Oh dear. Why won't it show up?
This is yours here, Chris.
Huh.
Okay, right.
All right.
Joe, you might want to mute your
Audio.
audio. Mute your audio.
Oh, just a second. Where does it say?
Let me see if I can get my husband to. Alan? Alan? I don't know if you can hear me. 1 sec. Can my phone went off again? Can you fix it? No, it has been, but then I was there's some way to connect the phone to the computer, but when I swept up, I didn't get the same saying that you did.
I'll try.
Okay. While he tries that, I'm going to pin myself. Maybe I can hold up on the screen what I've got. So right now, I just filled in the top area, and I think that I will try to get the watercolor and show you that aspect. So we'll have the outline, the filled in area, and the watercolor end of it. There's supposed to be some way that you join.
to let me in again.
I have to let you in again.
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay. Admit. Yes, okay. Can you see? Oh, there I am at the bottom. It's still tiny. I think you're right. If I could have figured out how to get that screen on my phone, if it would connect to the computer, it would be better.
Well, can people pin this?
We can pin that. We can see your
Yes.
artwork now.
Oh,
If you double click on the image, it comes up, or pin it.
Is that still working?
yes.
Okay.
Can you see that now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Pin,
I can't.
pin it.
I have an iPad, so it just came up on iPhone the first time, but I don't,
Yeah, have to
It's
look
not
for it. It says Nan Hass Feldman's iPhone.
Glass of water.
And you have to search among the participants. And
how do you do that? Oh, I see.
okay.
Okay, it went down a screen. I see it.
And then pin it.
Right. Pinning will make
I'll
it
use it little. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And on my screen, I'm pinning it, and it's making it. At least it makes it larger. So I'll do the. Thank you very much. So I'll take out a variety of brushes, and you can use just watercolor brushes or any brushes, and depending on what area you're trying to fill. For instance, these are just a variety of brushes. And to show you, I will try to get so weird not to be in a room where you can do this. Okay. Okay, so here is my little case. Of watercolors, just a small container from the container store. And I'm going to turn this on its side so I can reach it. In fact, I'm turning it upside down. At least where I am, it's upside down. This blue tape on the side is just, to keep the edge of it clean. So when I finish the whole thing, I remove the blue tape and have a nice white border. So, okay. Okay, so I'm going to so I don't know if you can see that, but the blue underneath just rejects the watercolor. And if I wanted it lighter, I can blot it. I can blot it. So I can leave as much watercolor as I want on it. Let's see. How about this color? Okay. Now I'm going to put some yellow over the blue. Can you see this? And so the watercolor will just seep around the oil pastel and fill in any area. And depending on what color it's going over, will depend how it ends up looking. And again, if I wish to blot it, just blot it before it dries, and you can remove some of that watercolor. Now the building, let's say we make the building let's see, make it a deeper ochre. And you really don't know exactly where it's going to seep in and where it's going to just go over, finding those white areas to fill in. And if I put a different color, this color ochre is sort of analogous to the yellow underneath. So it is sort of building colored. But if I didn't want it to be harmonious with it, I would pick a contrasting color. Okay, now I will go up here. And the more I wanted to resist the color, I would put more oil pastel on. Now if I want, let's say I want the borders to be fairly bright. I mean, if I put black over something, it really makes it stand out. That I think is really okay. Okay, let's go over the sky. This will be a big area to show you. So again, I'll use a wider brush with a certain oil pastel, so it'll fill it in nicely. I'll use a little bit of a wider brush. And let's see, I'll use and watercolors, of course, are different strengths depending on how much water you use with it or not. And I won't know unless I try. Sometimes you don't get enough pigment on there. It'll just be very pale. Like now it's I put a lot of water on it, so I'll just blot it a little bit. Considering I have like tiny little area. Come back here. Okay, watercolor. Now this is a really broad area on this piece of paper, but it's still, even though I'm using a lot of one color, it will be multicolored because of the colors underneath. Now if I put, let's say, a yellow sky, I wouldn't get green putting the blue over the yellow. I would get yellow coming through blue. So it won't blend. The oil and the water will not blend. Blot this a little bit. It's amazing how little paint you use of watercolor. I'm used to using oil paint and I use a lot of paint. Oh my God, I go through gallons of paint. But watercolor is like, it's like nothing. And I'm going to just turn it around so I can get the rest of the area. Okay. So in a pretty short time, I just went over top of 1/3 of the 18 by 18 paper. And it starts to, whoops, to fill it in. I don't know how good that is coming out on the screen, but I can also add some, say, pinks to the clouds. see. Jesus, what did I do? Okay, so just rinse that. Okay, and now maybe I'll switch back to the whole screen. Okay, let's see if I can stop sharing the screen. Huh. Wait a minute. No. Undo the screen. And if I pin myself, if you pin me, oops, you can probably see that it's starting to fill in.
Yeah.
And there's more that here at the bottom, but at least there's the small areas and the broader areas. And I can always, if I want to, go back, and if I wanted to add more oil pastel, I could do that on top of an area I already did do, but I probably won't. So little by little, each color seems to refine the whole composition, and so I'll just put that original one on here again. Oh dear. Ah, that is not what I wanted. Where do you go? Stop sharing. Oh well, I'm not sure where it went. Okay. Well, maybe I won't share that screen with you. But anyway, so that is basically the idea, is to do these works in 3 parts, and then that additional one that I do, which is trace it before I actually work on the paper piece, gives me a piece of tracing paper with the original sketch on it, which I can then transfer to, in my case, these gesso boards, these gessoed cradle gesso boards, and then it can become a painting once I have the sketch transferred. So that's the basic idea. So does anybody have questions?
Yep,
Oh, I have you muted, so just unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. What was I gonna ask? Oh, when did you use the hairspray?
The hairspray was after I wherever I am, and I sketch with charcoal and my kneaded eraser. Once I erase what's in back of something else, and I get the sketch just the way I like it, then I spray it probably twice, so that I can go back to it at any time, and I don't have to worry about smudging out my composition lines.
So you can paint over the hairspray?
Absolutely.
Huh. What kind of hairspray is it?
Well, I first, many years ago, when I first would teach in Europe, I would take all my materials with me because I didn't trust the carrier. I wanted them on me. So I would hold up the bag and say,
Can't
This
see.
is fixative. It's for art supplies with all the, and that's what I need when I get there. And they would say, no, 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 no. They would take it.
Right.
Then the next time I put it in my suitcase and it was taken out of my suitcase. Then I tried again to take it, but I didn't tell them I was taking it on the plane, and they found it again, and it was confiscated. And so I realized after many times, and now my suitcase is always checked, that just a little pump hairspray in the travel section of the drugstore is
Okay.
just fine.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem with that. But you might want to do it around your house or wherever. And I think as long as you sketch whatever you want, some people might like to do it without sketching. You could go right into Caran d'Ache crayons and oil pastels, forget the sketch. But for me, I need the composition, and that's it. Then I go from there. Somebody else might do it differently. I'm not sure. So has anybody ever done this before?
It looks like it's
Nan, I have
Yes.
a question.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's a comment. I think my comment would be that this is sort of like a boutique.
A little bit.
Yep. And I thought it tends to look like fabric. Like at the end, is this sort of a fabric feeling to it?
Well,
I
guess so. And because all the spaces are, nothing is left behind.
Right.
So there's, if there's white left, it's because you decided you wanted it white.
Right.
But even if you decided you wanted it white and you used watercolor over it, it would still get the crackly effect like a batik would.
Yes.
And I remember doing batiks 40, 50 years ago. And it's true that the dye resisted the wax and went around very similar.
Yep.
Very similar.
That's what I was thinking of when you, especially the sky and the clouds.
Yeah.
Large areas.
Yeah, that's true. It is somewhat like that. And I guess you could do it on an absorbent fabric, but I haven't done it on fabric.
Ah, right.
You could try it though.
Okay. On silk. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Somebody
Okay.
wanting to ask questions.
As long as the paper or the fabric is absorbent to take the watercolor.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I think silk would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would work.
I've done, my medium is watercolor.
Yes.
And what I do sometimes is I put the oil pastel over the watercolor
Yes.
to give it some texture.
Texture and brightness.
Right. So
Yes.
I do like the opposite of you.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it's more typical to do it over, just the way you might use the oil sticks over acrylic paintings.
Right.
And you could do it certainly over watercolor too. But this other way, the reverse,
Right.
just means that there's more resistance.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit less controllable, but that's what's sort of fun about it, is that you're not sure, how it's going to work out, color over color. But usually it does, if you're pretty brave about it. And then because it's on paper, it's easy to travel with. And these materials fit into a pretty small case. When I teach abroad, I would be so inundated with art supplies. I would bring acrylics and oil sticks, and I just brought everything. But you can, if you did this method, you could, it's doable, carryable, and then later on, by tracing it before you actually do the colors on the paper, you could then transfer the image if you really like the image, and then make it into whatever you wanted: acrylic painting, oil painting, watercolor, whatever. So in a way, you get double time for it for the same composition. Anyone else?
It looks like.
Okay, well, I hope that you enjoyed it. It is a technical challenge. But it's fun to try, and hopefully you give it a try and enjoy it. If you want to see more, I'm sure, I mean, I have on my website, I have lots of them under mixed media, so you could certainly see more. But now that you know how to do it, you could certainly try it yourself.
Okay.
So
Nan, could you give us your website address?
yes, it's my name, Nan Hass Feldman, NanHassFeldman.com, nanhassfeldman.com. And certainly, if you want to be on, I send out some emails during the year about art exhibits and teaching, etc. You could send me your email address if you want me to put you on and to get the bigger emails. And my email is just my name, nanhassfeldman@gmail.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So if that's all the questions and everybody sort of understood it,
Yeah, you did all right. You did good. You did-
okay, good. And it really is fun. I mean, any age, and it's but can be both playful and it's as I say, what I do is serious play. It's 7 days a week. It's serious play, but it always has the playful in it because I want to at least enjoy it. And where it goes from there, I never know.
Let's give her a good hand. I think she did a great job.
Thank you.
Was this recorded? Did we-
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So,
I'll stop recording.
okay, it's going to be a big file.